Hello everyone, this is Tim, SamY7, and I'm hanging out in my small backyard, and I figured that I would try to make a video with some of my, I don't know, they're like evergreen trees in the background. And I kind of thought that that would be a nice backdrop for Changeling the Lost review. My face is a little bright, it's kind of bright out here, but I don't know, hopefully the natural scenery kind of makes that okay. I've been talking about doing a Changeling review for a while, and I've been a little kind of self-conscious about doing it. I think Changeling Lost is probably my favorite setting game that I've seen in a while, and part of my liking of it is that it's so complex. Well, not complex. There's so much in the setting, and there's so many things you can do as a character in that game that it's kind of daunting to learn. It's kind of daunting to teach to people that haven't read the book. I'm on my second read through of the entire Changeling book, and of course you have to read the World of Darkness core book to get the basic rules down. And I kind of made up my mind that when I play this game, I'm going to teach the players a little bit at a time. I'm not really going to try to just info dump everything for the setting and bore the crap out of them, and make them just sit there and listen to me like it's a lecture. I'm gonna actually break down the character creation process over probably a 4-hour time frame. I'm gonna do preludes like most World of Darkness games have you do, where you go back in their backstory and kind of role play it out a little bit. And I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. I'm not going to spend too much time just giving them information. I'm just going to give them a little bit of information and then let them play. Give them a little bit more character background and things to fill on the character sheet, and then we're going to play for a little bit more. So that it's called Fluency play, and my friend Jason and his brother, they've been talking about that several times on the Storyjammers podcast. So I'll link to that as well. So Changeling the Lost, this will probably be several videos, and I'm gonna kind of ramble. It's like I said, the setting is kind of, it's got a lot of different layers, like an onion that you can peel back, and I guess it's kind of like layers of a beautiful rotting onion, to use an oxymoron. But so Changeling the Lost, what is it? You start out as a normal person, and you have a normal life, a modern day life, and one day something happens. And that something could be you bump into a true fae, which are basically kind of like the others, kind of like from the Grimm story tales, or elves, or the good folk, things like that. Except they're slightly different. They're more dark in the World of Darkness. But something happened where they either abducted you, or chose you, or connived you into going somewhere else. And that somewhere else is to Arcadia. Arcadia is the world of the Fae, and it is a world of beauty, nightmares, dreams, everything mixed together. Nothing happens without everything in the setting agreeing to have it happen. So if, let's say, you were immortal and you happen to stumble into Arcadia, if you ate an apple, it wouldn't let you eat it because you hadn't agreed to its contract yet, and to a pact with the apple. So you'd eat it, and it wouldn't sustain you, and you'd eventually die. So everything in Arcadia is done by contracts, pacts, pledges, and that has a big influence on the game itself. In fact, there are contracts and pledges when you are a changeling later on. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Like I said, this is going to be a ramble because I think I'm trying to work through my thoughts as I'm doing these videos, because I'm going to run a Changeling game in the near future. So I'm reading through the book. I'll figure out how to make these videos and see what I can come up with. So, you're immortal. You're stolen or abducted or tricked into going to Arcadia and basically being a slave for the true Fae. And when I say true Fae, that's them, because changelings also call themselves Fae with a little f, and they're like the big F for the true Fae. And they can come in all shapes and sizes. There's no standard template for a true Fae, and they're almost godlike in power. They're very powerful. In fact, I the changing game doesn't even go into stats or anything. It's not like old Dungeons and Dragons, where Thor has a strength stat. They just don't do that. They're more of just a big baddie that you have a really hard time, you know, fighting against or disagreeing with. So, let's see here. So all that's going on. You're kidnapped, taken away, and then you have to endure it. It's called endurance. And while you're there, all kinds of strange things happen to you. Things that you don't understand. You see things that you don't understand. Hear things that are bizarre. They torment you in various ways. But at the same time, there's a wonderment. There's just a wonderful beauty to the world that is hard to put in words. They aren't always cruel, so it's kind of like a bittersweet existence, and it's kind of hard. It's going to be a little bit hard for me to get across, I think. Um, just the magic and strangeness of the place, and how it doesn't make sense. The true Fae have no empathy. They they might act like they do, but they really don't understand the plight of others. They only understand their selfish interests, and their really only guiding principle is entertainment. And they also need glamour, which they basically get off of mortals and their emotions. See, the Fae have no emotions, so they kind of feed off them. They're kind of like psychic vampires in a strange way. And changelings, when they leave Arcadia, are also psychic vampires in a different way. Uh, just to a lesser extent, I guess. So, you have this really horrible time in Arcadia, but there's also all these strange, beautiful things, kind of like cruel beauty. There's lots of bad and good things kind of blended together. They're beautiful but crazy, especially the true Fae. They might be gorgeous, but they're very cruel and very disturbing in the way they do things. Um, so I'm going to start my chronicle, I think. Um, Unlike where the book tells you to start, like later on down the line, I think I'm going to start my chronicle right at the time they escape their keeper. Now, the keeper is the true Fae that kidnapped you. And you kind of either take on aspects of him in your body, like your body actually changes as you're eating the Fae food and experiencing Arcadia, and you might actually look like your keeper in a lot of ways. But there's also another avenue. You can look and feel like the task that you're appointed to. So if you're a very good-looking woman and you're taken because of that, um, they might shape your beauty in strange ways. Like you might look like carved icicles, or um, the game kind of gives you a lot of freedom to describe what your character actually looks like, which is kind of nice. There really isn't any preset way that things have to look, which is kind of cool. There's all kinds of different vocabulary words and different names that they call everything. And White Wolf kind of does this, I think, to kind of bring about the setting and all the details in it. Trying to think where to go next. Like I said, these are gonna be probably, I don't know, several videos just with me rambling about the setting. And I really haven't reviewed the New World of Darkness yet. I probably should have done that first, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do that afterwards. So you're abducted, you're enslaved, you're tortured, treated cruelly, or strangely nice at times. Like I said, their only real driving goal is entertainment. So if it entertains them to be nice to you for a short period of time, they might be. So it's kind of bizarre as mortals to deal with that kind of mindset. Time isn't the same in Arcadia as it is in the World of Darkness setting, which is kind of like our modern setting. So you could be away for a day in real time, but in Arcadia you might spend 30 years there.